What up, peeps? It's your girl Dash coming back to Frontal Takes. Today I'll be doing a review to the movie Peppermint, starring Jennifer Gardner. And first and foremost, before I get into it, let me just say I enjoyed this movie immensely. This was a great movie, and I knew I wouldn't be disappointed because I am a fan of Jennifer Garner's work. Now, this is, of course, directed by Pierre Morel. He did Taken. Right there, good thing to know. And then also the movie The Gunman. Now, like I stated, I am familiar with Jennifer Garner's work. The first thing I became introduced to for Jennifer Garner was when she did the show Alias. So we already knew she had the physicality and all that to do certain scenes, of course, in fight sequences and choreograph for those particular situations within the TV series, of course. Then, she kind of parlayed into other areas of other movies like Daredevil, and then we were introduced to her character in that, which actually get a spinoff for Elektra. And then, of course, other movies she's done where she's, flexed her muscle. Like another movie I really enjoyed her in, which she starred with Jamie Foxx, was The Kingdom. So to see her back in this type of genre action type of movie, I was not surprised because that's one thing she does. She's very good at getting prepared for these type of roles. I love that she does a little bit of everything, comedy, drama, whatever and all, but that's the area I definitely am familiar with watching her, do her thing. Now, to get right into it, I don't think really I have anything to truly to spoil from this movie. I think the trailer kind of is self-explanatory to you guys, so there's nothing I can really say. I will just say this. Of course, if you all saw the trailer, you understand the situation. She's out with her family enjoying a night out celebration, I think, with their daughter, and a brutal attack happens, and she loses her husband and her daughter. And of course, she's expecting the system, the justice system, to come to her aid and make the individuals, the parties involved with this pay. But of course, we're dealing with a little bit of corruption, some backhanded, money under the table, things of that nature where they get off, and she is left to basically go away for a while, come back to embark on her own brand of justice, and revenge, so to speak. So basically, the thing I did like when you figured out how it came, because I was wondering how they were going to actually, portray how this comes to be, and it was done very well. Of course, her husband is working with somebody at his business, and he wanted to make some quick cash under whichever, work with some individuals really should not be working with. And the husband was kind of at first wanted to do this because of course his friend throws in his ear, you want to get this for your wife, you want to do this stuff for your daughter, whichever, and all that. And he's like, okay, I'm down. But then before they went out for that night, to celebrate their daughter, he called and let the guy know, I'm out, I don't want to do that. And that's all that needed to be happen, because of course the powers that be, the guys that are dealing in this particular, underworld, corruption with drugs and money, got wind of that they were going to try to do one over on them. They did one over on him. Mickey, of course, learned the hard way, and then you see what happens to Jennifer's husband. His name is, if I'm not mistaken, is Chris North. She's Riley North, and her daughter is Carly North in the movie. And it's such a sad because there's scenes between Jennifer and her little girl, which are so cute. She's a Girl Scout and she's trying to sell some cookies, and she was planning a little birthday get together for her at the home. She had to get off work early, but she could not. Her husband had to, watch, but then she's there all alone. No kids show up. One of their, you can say, people within the company of the Girl Scouts did not like that she was on their territory, and she basically used the same evening to have a little get together for her daughter, which all the girls went to. So that was kind of a snub at the mom, whatever, to get back at her for hitting on her territory, so to speak. And that's when they decided to go out. They did like the little stuff with the carnival, Ferris wheel, all these little good things, cheer up their daughter. Some ice cream, and I think the key thing in this one was the ice cream was Peppermint, because I was wondering why that name was so pivotal for the title of the movie. And even though you see a scene in the trailer, it does show her talking to her daughter, saying little words and saying Peppermint. So that was her ice cream of choice, the daughter. So when you see the incident happen, and let's just say Jennifer can definitely get within her emotions, seeing both her daughter and husband gunned down in front of her, that scene was really graphic, and it was really done really well. And that's when you, of course, see the next part where it shows the cops show up. We have John Gallagher, who plays detective. Let me get his his name right, Detective Stan Carmichael, and then we have John Ortiz who plays Detective Diego. What is it? No, Detective Moses Beltran. Now the villain in this, his name is Diego, played by Juan Pablo Barra. He is a great actor. I've seen him in quite a few things, and he plays very, evil, kingpin guy, in the area, all underground, whatever, money, whichever. Now you see the scenes in the trailer where it shows her, in court speaking, whichever. You see the scenes where a man shows up at her house before the court hearing trying to pay her off, and she's not down for it. Come to find out he's the attorney for the side of the guys who basically took her family away from her. And there's some parts of the scene that you all do not see from the trailer, which I'm glad they didn't show everything, and I love that, that are so bad. You feel so bad for Riley in that scene, but in the end, she kind of flips it around, whichever, after they're trying to escort her out of there. She kind of gets emotional and erratic and jumps across to try to, go for the three guys. And that's when things take a turn where she decides, I need to get away. I don't want them to try, lock me up in a middle place, whatever, and all, because I'm having a breakdown because of, her not getting her justice. The judge, like, he's corrupted. So from there, it shows her she's gone. Then all of a sudden, things start happening. It's been 5 years, as you all know in the trailer, and you see guys stringed up from, long buildings up in the air. All these guys that work for Diego are just being, just killed off little by little. She's, staying somewhere located over in Skid Row, on a broken up van, whatever, that blends in really well, whichever. And she, has the markings of where she's been, learning certain things, doing certain things. And that was another thing. They didn't go into more in depth with how she learned these moves, how to, hone these firearms. Because let's just remember, they showed her character running to get to work because she was running late going to work at a bank. Just a woman, no priors, no nothing, no background, any of this. I mean, you see scenes where she's learning somewhere, kickboxing, whatever, and all that. And I really wish we saw more of that, because that would have been great, because you do see some good action choreography, for certain fight sequences that she did, and they were done really, really well. Now, there are other parts that happened where she'd already strategized. She didn't come into this, very lazy about the way she had everything planned out, down to the science of following his work, following his businesses, making sure certain shipments didn't make where they needed to make, whichever. And him, Diego, not realizing that this woman had been interfering with his business. So, of course, he wants to handle her. All the while, he's trying to find her, locate her. Can't really find her. She's under the radar. She always seems to know certain things. She does get a hold of some of his guys working on the money aspect part, and he gives away, of course, certain locations, whichever. One main location that she's able to figure out was where he lives, whichever. And let's just say that scene was done really good, of her showing up at his home and the way she got in there. There's another particular person who's in this movie that I've been keeping up with his work. His name is Richard Cabral. He's been in American Crime Story. He's also was in Breaking In with Gabrielle Union. A good guy to watch out for. He was also on Lethal Weapon, one of the seasons for, I think the first season, whatever. So he's kind of, doing his thing, whichever. And he was really good in that particular scene where she's trying to enter into Diego's home. That was a really good scene. So, but yes, a couple shady cops as well, a couple FBI people trying to get to the bottom of, what's going on, to find her, to kind of stop this from getting even worse, whichever, which I wasn't going to actually happen. She was going to get her revenge. I feel like this movie kind of gives me a little bit of course, John Wick. I get a little bit of the Punisher, maybe a little bit of the Death Wish, like a nice little, combo right there, of a little all spliced together. And I'm happy that they went with someone who did a very good movie, which was Taken. That was a great movie with Liam Neeson. So you know what? They picked the perfect director to give us exactly what we needed to see, for us to see the hurt in her eyes for losing her family, the reason for, the revenge. She is killing so many people. People, honestly wouldn't, feel that's a good thing to do. But then they show also in the trailer how some of these people living under areas like the homeless and the Skid Row, and these little kids you see within the movie who are, looking out for her, whichever, and all that, and, know she's doing something to help them, because with Diego, he's entering those areas too, bringing the drugs, whichever, and all that, and making it fearful for the people, whichever. So they felt like she's an angel to them. So when you see that particular mural of her done with the hood and the wings, that's their way of saying she's an angel to them, which was a nice little added bonus for that, whichever. And some of the cops aren't here for the FBI as well, but one of the cops in general actually in the end understood what she was doing, whichever. I will not spoil the ending part. It's just a little partial part, not a lot to go on. Lackluster at times to me personally, but it's only so much they could do with the ending, whichever, and that was fine for me, whichever. I just like that overall she got the justice that she so rightfully deserved, and the certain people that had to pay did pay. In the end, I'll say out of a 10, I would give this movie about an 8.5. Like I said, the only part I wish that they kind of dabbled more in was the part of her going away, her learning her skill set, her guns, gun training or whatever, because somebody had to teach her. And that's the part I really wish they did, because other than that, everything else about the movie was done very well, down to, enough of a storyline to keep it the flow of the movie up until the end as well. So, but yes, Jennifer Gardner, I can't say enough. I love her. I know she just did the movie, also Love, Simon. Like I said, she does everything, but my area that I always loved her in when she does the action, because when you look at her, she's so sweet, whatever, innocent looking, all that, but you never can see underneath that, even though it's just acting, she can be such a badass. Excuse my language, but that's just how I feel. So, but you guys, I hope you enjoy the review. If you all have seen the movie, let me know what you all think. And with that said, I will see you guys on the next review. You guys take care.